I, 28M, found out my daughter, 3F, isn't really mine. So I married my wife, 27F, 4 years ago and we had a daughter. Or at least I thought I did. I caught her cheating recently when I discovered she was leaving the kid at home by herself to go bang some coworker from work. When I pressed for information, she swore this only happened recently but was very combative when I suggested a DNA test. Results came back and Lord behold, the daughter wasn't actually mine. What do I do now in terms for the future? I'm so sorry. Deal with one thing at a time. Contact a lawyer to discuss your options. Talk to family. Don't deal with this on your own. Tell your wife you will report her to CPS if she leaves the baby on her own again. Also, what do you want to do? As you are the husband, most states consider you the child's father. So if you want to remain in her life, that will be easier than you think. Since she has endangered the child by leaving her home alone, you have a better chance to get custody. Contact CPS on her for leaving the child alone and see an attorney. If you feel like you cannot parent your daughter, then you need to see an attorney with the results of the DNA test. It will be difficult to get out of child support depending on the state you're in, but an attorney can walk you through the process. You should not stay married to this woman, she's awful. She cheated on you, lied about you being the father, and leaves her own child at home so she can bang someone else. Selfish as hell. If you want a presence in the little girl's life, you need a lawyer. On the other hand, if you don't want anything to do with the girl and don't want to be stuck with child support, you need a lawyer. Of course, if you haven't decided what you want yet, then you need a lawyer to help you understand what your options are. Get your name off the birth certificate. You'll need a lawyer for that. Yet again, another reminder that DNA tests should be mandatory before the father's name is put on a birth certificate. Report her to Child Protective Services for abandoning the child. I've only seen one mention of this so far. Talk to a lawyer. Talk to a lawyer. One more time for it to sink in. Talk to a lawyer. Anything and everything you do from this point forward can hurt you down the road. If you don't have a plan and understanding of what is to come and what your options are, you're setting yourself up for failure. At this point, it's totally up to you what you do with your kid. I have a 15-month-old at home. I can't imagine leaving her for any reason in the world. She is my daughter at this point. But if I found my partner had done this shit, I'd be taking steps to get full custody plus child support and alimony from the kid's mom and bio dad. Leave. See what the process is in your state to remove yourself as the father. Ignore everyone that says you need to act like a dad. Dismissing men to prioritize the kid is normalized in this area, but that doesn't mean your feelings don't matter. You will never get over this. Relationship is over. Understand. As bad as this situation is, you are very lucky you found out this early. I am sorry you're going through this. Paternity fraud should be a crime. You've been financially and emotionally harmed by your wife's actions and need to be made whole. So I, M38, am feeling some kind of way because I discovered something my wife, F38, texted an ex-BF. So I'll start this off by saying I am no saint. By no means do I want to stake claim to any moral high ground. If I was going to bottom line this, I just feel used and that doesn't sit well with me. Story: she has been on a weight loss journey for 2 years. Her choice: I have always shown love and affection no matter what she looks like. This year she got to her goal weight and even below that. Pretty sure she is lighter than our 17-year-old daughter. Confidence has gone up, love it. With that confidence she has increased going out to see bands at festivals and bars with her friends and sisters. I love that for her as she used to be a bit of a hermit. Again, I was supportive, drove them, etc. One of the things that has plagued our marriage has been a dead bedroom. It comes and goes in phases, highly correlated to how she feels about herself. Was hoping this success she is having would turn it around. It has a little bit, but still not where my needs are being met. But I have learned to cope and to meet her where she is. Years ago I suggested open relationship so I could honestly go get my needs met elsewhere but still be together and raise our kids. I also just feel like maybe she isn't attracted to me anymore and only stays out of a sense of duty or obligation. Rather than be honest with me. She shot that idea down and has consistently verbally affirmed her commitment. She just isn't that sexual a person anymore. No lie for me, the nagging insecurity and thought is that she is staying out of obligation or fear because my income is consistently 3x her income. I can honestly say I am afraid of being stuck in a sexless marriage my whole life because we weren't open and honest. Shit, it is the exact reason my dad left my mom. Fast forward to recent events. She is brought home by the girlfriends hammered and unconscious. Have to take care of her and make sure she is okay. That's not a problem. Her phone kept buzzing. Eventually I go check it. Maybe it's her friends checking on her. I don't think they have my number. Nope. Ex-boyfriend from 20 years ago asking to see her costume. Halloween. In 18 years together I have never snooped her phone, but I couldn't help it and scrolled out of curiosity. Find out every time she is going out with the girls she is trying to meet up. The text she sent that got me fired up was this. I just wanted to meet up and catch up. You want to take it further, great. Talk dirty to me because honestly, love. But don't twist this around, I only want to take this as far as you want to. I am furious. I think the main reason isn't so much she is flirting or potentially cheating. I am furious that for so many years my sex life has been limited by her and here she is potentially offering herself up to an ex. Rather than come to me and revisit the open relationship discussion, it happens behind my back. I just can't shake the nagging feeling or belief that she wants to do everything possible to control, keep me. Not out of love or for the kids. But because without me her lifestyle takes a massive hit and I provide safety and security. The more I let my mind follow that logic, the more hurt and angry I feel. You want another man, fine, let me do my thing then. But don't lie to me and use me. That is triggering rage. As I type this I am monitoring her condition as she is drunk out of her mind and has thrown up a few times. Def taking care of her, but I am pissed. Someone please talk to me, man. Facepalming, medium skin tone. She is having at the very least an emotional affair. It's time to call her on it and get this resolved one way or another. Remain calm and begin to collect evidence. Contact a divorce lawyer ASAP. I would begin making plans in secret so that she doesn't turn vindictive and make things ugly. You can clearly see what's going on here, so there's no point in gaslighting yourself. Save copies of her texts before she deletes them. Remember, you have the upper hand here until she finds out that you know. Get the F out of there, man. I'm not into sex, is usually a cover-up, and if she can't help you out any other way, some other person will. This is how shitty partners act. They deny you sex, this, that, the other until you're gone. Get someone who wants to be happy around. Forgetting the open relationship for a moment, she obviously doesn't seem committed to you and you aren't necessarily want to be committed to her. Now that she's had gone outside the marriage without your permission, or at least tried to, do you really want to stay with her? You're not getting your needs met and she's not being honest with you. I think it's time to start to plan how to separate. I can understand the frustration and anger for asking to have an open relationship to finding out she's been talking to an ex in a steamy way. That does suck. Usually I see people suggest talking to lawyers before their spouses. Not sure if this applies to you. She seems really reckless with getting drunk to the point of puking. But I'm only a social drinker and don't like puking, so don't get to that level. So it might be different for others. Leave, man. If you can prove she is getting blacked out drunk in the regular, you could have a good case to keep the kids. If she is a good mother otherwise, doubtful given she is out and about getting wasted randomly, then fight for 50-50 custody. The more custody you get, the less money you have to give her too. Brother, you hit the nail on the head. She is using you for the lifestyle that you provide but lusting over other men. Get rid of her, she's a leech and not even a good one at that. The least she could do is fuck you. You're only 38 and it sounds like you make a great living. You'll be able to bounce back easy, trust me. The pain you feel now won't compare to the regret you'll have if you stay with her. Self-love is the best love. Get out of that marriage ASAP. I've seen this many times. A woman tells her husband that she is just not a sexual person. But what she really means is, I love sex, just not with you. Do you really want to be trapped in a sexless marriage forever? You saw it happen to your dad, and he had enough backbone to walk away. My father, 71M, didn't. My mother treats my dad with open, undisguised contempt. About 15 years ago, she bragged to a woman I was dating that she had not had sex with my father since 1977. I doubt it has changed since then. No way in hell would I, 46M, stay with a woman who won't have sex with me. My dad has no spine and takes his wife's abuse. Don't let that happen to you. My marriage is over and I feel like I'm overreacting. My husband and I have been together for 6 years now. I am very anti-organized religion, but I respect others and their beliefs as long as 1, they respect mine, and 2, they don't brainwash their children into the religion. I grew up in a cult. I made this clear when we started dating and he told me he 100% agreed our entire relationship he never did anything that would make me think he was religious anyway. Our daughter is 5 years old and came to me crying that she no longer wanted to go with her dad to church because they tried to drown her. Once a week on Sunday my husband takes our daughter to work with him because it helps with my schedule, or so I had been told, but apparently for 7 fucking years he's been lying about working on Sundays so he can go to church with his family, and then started taking our daughter and she was baptized without my consent. I of course did all I could to comfort her and told her that she never had to go again if she didn't want to, and gave her some ice cream to make her feel better. When my husband came home I confronted him and he admitted that throughout our entire relationship he had been trying to convert me, and when he realized he couldn't he wanted to at least save his daughter's soul. I essentially told him to get out of my house and that I was divorcing him. Now his entire family and several of our mutual friends are saying I'm being a bully for not respecting my husband's religion. But I'm sorry, I can't support pushing a child's head underwater while she screams and cries. She even told me that she said no and they did it anyway. But IDK, maybe my childhood abuse is making this feel worse than it actually is. Sorry for the bad grammar, I'm not in a good headspace. RN. Never heard of a baptism where they force you. Such a shame. My issue is 7 years of lying to you. That is a major violation. Not communicating his true feelings and thoughts on religion is a major violation as well. Terrifying, a child seals it. Ignoring the whole religious aspect, the lying is the part you should not forgive. He lied to you for every moment you were together, even before the marriage. Therapy does not solve this. Not only is he an asshole, but apparently hypocritically religious. Nothing like lying before God about your marital vows and every day to show the strength of his faith. Fuck, I hate these type of people. Lawyer up hard. The friends are wrong and of course his family is going to side with him. It's all about respecting their religion when they have no interest in respecting our lack of religion. Lying to you like that for all those years is incredibly talented and complete grounds for divorce. No way you can ever trust him again. They are all wrong. Get full primary physical custody of your children. Keep us updated. Wow, he crossed like every line he could. Divorce is absolutely justified. You are not overreacting. He lied to you about who he was and what his intentions with you were for your entire relationship, and did something to your child that is considered a big drawl without discussing it with you at all. Sounds culty to me. Get her away from that. Divorce is reasonable. This isn't the person you thought you married. He lied to you for 7 years. That's what you're not respecting. Not his religion. My husband's 35 male, controlling behavior is so out of control and I'm 29F, afraid. CW. SA. My husband and I have been together almost 4 years and married less than 1. He has always been very insecure, but never in a way like he has been in the last month or so. Before I'd see him looking through my social media, checking the profiles of any man who followed me, or being weird about me doing anything without him, but what has happened next is just hard to deal with. Last week we got into an argument because I went to a friend's Halloween party and drank too much and stayed the night. I didn't see all of the calls he made cause my phone was on Do Not Disturb and in another room. He called everyone he could think of looking at me. He knew who I was with but not the exact address, and even people I'd rather never talk to again. He made a really big deal out it even though this has never happened before. I was just anxious as hell since this was the first time I have gone out since I had a major falling out with a friend group. He told me he has never been so angry in his life. The next night he raped me. I don't want to go into more detail than that, but he was hurting me and I told him to stop, but he didn't until I started sobbing. He seemed very remorseful after that. I later comforted him since I didn't want to deal with his emotions and I hate myself for it. A few days later I had a therapy session and he demanded he go. The therapist said he was overreacting. My husband sat there and told him that he was worried I'd be assaulted, and I couldn't believe he could say that without seeing the irony in his statement. He also left some voicemails on my phone I haven't listened to and my therapist says I shouldn't. I didn't tell my therapist that he had assaulted me. The next day I saw my therapist again alone without telling my husband, and we are making a plan for me to leave my husband, but it's going to take a long time. I don't have anywhere to go since I no longer have close friends and my family has since moved out of state. I don't have a job anymore and I rely on my husband financially and have to ask when I need money. Any job I could get wouldn't be good enough to support myself and my needs. I live in a state where alimony is near impossible to get. I don't know how I am going to be able to put up with him for so long and pretend it's all okay. I don't think anything like this would happen again, but I can't be 100%. What happens when he wants sex again? What if his controlling behavior only gets worse? I'm terrified. I hope this makes sense. It feels kind of fragmented. I have been kind of out of it the last week, like this has all been a dream. TLDR, my controlling husband sexually assaulted me and getting out is going to take too long, I fear. Sorry this happened, but to me it sounds like you do have options. If you don't work and have no friends, nothing's holding you where you're at now. So why can't you move in with your parents to get back on your feet? Also, that idea of a DV shelter is a good one. Why does it matter that he doesn't beat you? He raped you. That's as violent as it gets. Check out r/Ebby45 for resources. This is not tolerable at all, so make a smart plan to end this married life sooner rather than later. You need help to deal with this, so talk to your family or friends about your situation and how you want to divorce him ASAP. You can see a lawyer behind his back to check your options and to protect asserts that you guys have together. Do not let him know that you are going to divorce him unless you are fully ready and have a good exit plan to execute. I really hope that you find ways to deal with this sooner rather than later, as it is not easy to be in a situation like this. Have you investigated what kind of women's DV shelters are in your area? They specialize in this stuff. Your family having moved out of state could be a blessing in disguise. Since obviously nothing holds you in your current place, why don't you try staying with your family for a while? Your husband definitely sounds crazy, jealous and controlling. He raped you. If there are DV shelters, get away from this nutcase and divorce him. Listen to me please. This sounds extremely similar to what I just went through the last few years. It gets better, but it is extremely hard. Listen to only the people who you can be 100% sure have your best interest at heart, and even then stay cautious. Stay close to your support and keep going even if you feel like you can't move another step forward. Do not look back. You'll find clarity. It just takes time and a lot of strength you may not realize is there, but please know it's there within you and always has been. Do you have access to a joint bank account? If so, when he's at work, pack a few bags, go to the bank, withdraw a bunch of money and drive far away. The next time he hears from you, it should be through your divorce lawyer.